Hi there. Are you a fan of dark academia, naturalism, or cottagecore? If so, I'm going to show you a few different projects that were inspired by Dollar Tree items to showcase crystals in my home. I hope you'll enjoy these projects. They're all very simple to do. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so to make these little stone displays like you see here, I bought these little hangers at the Dollar Tree. So these are the types of hangers that they use to hang wire grids from, and these come 4 in a pack. And you can see I've got 4 of them here. This one's in process for me to show you what I'm doing. And they basically what I need to do when I get this is I stick a little something like a tool or a pen or something into this hole and pull this out, and that'll make this back part, we'll put this back on, but that makes that back part pop off so that I can make the hole in this. And I've got a Dremel tool here, but you can use just a regular drill if you want to. And basically all I'm gonna do is take my Dremel tool, and I just eyeballed the center, and you really don't have to have this perfectly centered because the wire is pretty random how it's gonna sit. So it may be off center. You can kind of still turn this piece if you need to. So, so don't worry too much about it being perfect, because the wire is not going to be perfect and you can bend it into place wherever you want it. Okay, so I'm taking my Dremel tool and I'm pushing down on this already. Let me get it over here so I'm not hitting the phone each time. And I'm just going to flick this on. This is going to go really quick, so hold it really secure with your left hand and turn it on with your right. I might bounce off of this, we'll see. There we go. Okay, and I got through, and I might want to actually work this hole a little bit just to make it a little bit bigger for the wire, okay? But see how easy that was? Drilling through plastic, very simple. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these apart. I'm not going to use the back side until the end. And I basically cut 3 6-inch pieces of wire for each of these. So I cut one, and then I just kind of matched up the rest as I went along. Let me brush some of this excess plastic off of our table. And then what I want to do with each of these is I kind of straighten them out, and I want to fold them in half, but I don't want to have a hard edge on the tip. I want to allow this to keep its nice curve, because if you see here, the curve is what's gonna hold on to our stone. So we're just gonna curve this around. Okay, and I kind of squeeze it up here so it'll be a little bit smaller. Okay, flatten it out. Okay, and then we'll do that 3 times, of course, because we're gonna use 3. I suppose you could use 4 if you want to. 3 seems to be optimal for a stone to sit on. And I am using 24 gauge wire. This is copper wire. You can use any kind of wire you like. I kind of like the idea of copper with the stone because it's definitely one of the natural elements too. And I actually have some stone balls that are copper balls. And so that may be one of the things I decide to put on these. But anyway, once I have all 3 of these put together, what I do is kind of line them up, okay, so that they're as even as I can get the tops of them. This one, let me squeeze this a little bit more. It wants to dip inside the other 3. Okay, so I'm going to grab this at the top, and I'm going to leave about maybe like a 1/2 inch to work with, okay, or let's say, I don't know, 13 to 15 millimeters to work with. Okay, so I'm just going to start to twist this. So I'm gonna hold my fingers over the part that I don't want to twist, and I'll take this half, cross it over this half, and just twist it as tight as I can possibly get it. Okay, and I'm gonna keep most of this wire. I'm gonna clip off the bottom, but this part's gonna be underneath, so you don't need to see it. I like to leave a lot so that it kind of braces the wire underneath to hold everything in position, okay? So what I do is I'm gonna kind of cut this at an angle so that hopefully I can fit my, there we go. So hopefully it'll fit through the hole. Oh, and it does, look at that. Okay, so I had this one all ready to go just in case this didn't fit perfectly, but this looks good. Now the first one I did, I actually had to twist and screw it through. The hole was that tight. So I've got a little bit more leeway with this one because I worked the Dremel tool a little extra. And you can see that now we have our 3 wire loops sticking out the top. And then basically what I want to do on the bottom is I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use some bent nose pliers so that I can hopefully get way down in here. And I want to give this a little curve. And I want to start kind of twisting this up so it's going to fit inside here. So this is nothing fancy. I'm just trying to get a nice loop so that I can create some pressure against the bottom here and get this wire to really stay in place well. Okay, so I'm just giving it a little push from below. And then this is just like flower petals. We're just gonna fold them out. Okay, and this one has a little twist to it. So let me just untwist that. Okay, so you can see it's just like a little flower on top. And this, we're gonna curve this a little bit. You can use, if you want to, you can use some round nose pliers to do this. And you can also fidget with this end a little bit, which I hadn't done on my first one, to kind of get this a little bit more even. Okay, and then just kind of curl that in. And I'm going to take this one. You're not going to see this part underneath the stone, so kind of curl that in. And curl this in. Okay. And then if there's anything you can do to kind of push the bottom, just show you that again, push it up so this moves as little as possible. But you notice you can move these around, okay? So that's not gonna be a problem. And then we're just gonna put our base back on the bottom. And that's gonna click right into place. I didn't really see the need to do anything. I mean, obviously I could have covered this whole little box, but honestly, you know, you don't really see these little edges out here. And then I'm just gonna pick a stone. How about that one? And if I want to, I can kind of form my wire around the stone, okay? So that it sits really nicely on there. And that is all there is to it. So you can make a bunch of these. These are great for our smaller stones to show them off and display them. And you can make a bunch of these. Like I said, these came 4 in a pack at the Dollar Tree. And so that's a very inexpensive little craft to make. And I have all sorts of smaller stones that I'd like to show off with these. Okay, and then I have a little display for each of them, and I can make them special. The other thing I can do is just take a little weathered piece of paper and maybe use a little glue on the back of it to write the type of the stone. So however you'd like to label this, this will look really nice too, to have a little label on the front saying exactly what type of stone this is. Okay, so the next Dollar Tree find I want to show you is this little thing here. This was kind of where the candle holders are, and I guess it's to hold candles or tea lights or whatever, and probably if you put a tea light here, then these shapes create fun shadows on the wall. But I actually bought this because I thought it would, I'm always looking for something to hang earrings from to take photographs, and I thought, oh, these little wire frames could work really well. You could have it the tall way or the sideways. So I just got like, I don't know, maybe one rectangle and one triangle one to give a try to. Well, when I brought this home, although I love the rectangle, it was the triangle that I suddenly went, oh, this holds all my little bead trays. So I use these little plastic trays to put onto my work surface when I'm working with chainmail and bead crafts, and I use them, you know, I lay them out and I put, you know, one thing in this tray, and then I'll put something else in here, and it keeps it sorted and it pours back into its containers really well. Okay, so I thought this was a great idea for this. So let me show you how I painted this black. So black just gives you a more, I don't know, academic or witchy kind of vibe to it. So I think that's really fun. And I am using Rust-Oleum. Now, for this type of thing, when you're painting on wire, you really want to use like an enamel paint. So this is like the real Rust-Oleum for metal. And it's very sticky. So, you know, make sure you set it on something, take it outside to paint it, set it on something, and really give this one a good day. With just the regular spray paint that spray paints onto plastic and other surfaces like that, it dries a little bit more quickly, but this one does not. And this one says stops rust. So this one is really for metals, and it really dries hard and shiny, but it takes quite a while to do that. Okay, so that's what you're gonna spray paint with. And then I actually had these aluminum trays for my beads too. So I have these little white plastic ones, which I use more often, but I also have these little aluminum ones, and I took 2 of these and put them into the triangle base, and that just makes it look a little bit more refined. You could of course paint this if you would prefer to take some of these trays and paint them black too. That would also probably look really good, but I like that it kind of blended in with the cement and, you know, didn't stand out too much. That way the rock that I put in there can really show off. So this is citrine. I just printed these out on my printer, and then I coffee stained them and tore them out. But I mean, you could just print out the names too and cut them out with hard edges. I like to tear things, give it a little bit more rustic feel to them, but you can do the labeling any way you want. And then I just used a little glue stick, so this will actually come back off if I want it to, and if I want to change the rock that's in the center here. So I thought that was another really cool, fun way to show off some crystals. Now, I have 2 more ideas for you, and these are just things that I want to mention. So at the Dollar Tree, you can always get these cloches, and I do love a cloche because I put a lot of my craft supplies in here to keep them covered, just so that they don't get dusty. So like, for example, I'll use waxed linen and things like that, and the cloche protects it from, you know, any dust or anything getting on it. So the thing about this is with plastic on the bottom and a plastic on top, you know, this tends not to look very high end. But really all that I did for this was I changed the bases. So I'll use this base. I might use this base with actually just a stone on it to showcase it. Okay, and that already looks a little nicer. But I also had some little black candle holders. I think I got these at Michael's at some point. I've had them forever. And I just put the cloche over top of this. okay? And this definitely makes this plastic look a little bit more like glass and makes it look a little bit more high-end, okay? So that's another way that I use for a little bit larger stones. You know, these are not huge, you know, $100 a piece stones, but a little bit larger than these tiny ones that I did in the first section. And then I found one more thing that I've found really fun. So I really like test tubes too for this type of thing. It gives it that everything that naturalist look. So this was I found this at the Dollar Tree, and it was of course $1, so no big deal there. And then I found these cute bud vases at Target this season. And so I'm actually putting some of my chip beads down into the test tube portion of this. You see this comes right out. And again, I use this enamel Rust-Oleum. This was a very shiny brass color when I first got it. And then I took it outside with the Rust-Oleum once again, that enamel black, and painted this so that it would have that academic witchy kind of feel to it. And then I actually ended up just using this to hold my, you could put flowers into this, and of course I just use chip stones here. I will probably create a label for this and just wrap it around here to label the type of beads that these are, gemstone chips. But I really liked it to hold onto my magnifying glass near the stones, just so that you can look at the stones more carefully. And it gives it that dark academia vibe that I was looking for. So I really kind of like this project too. It was super simple. These were probably, I don't know, these were $3 to $5. So a little bit more than the Dollar Tree items, but Target is a great place to find little accents for your rock collection too, to show them off. Okay, so I think that is all of my ideas for you today, and I hope this gives you some fun inspiration for showing off your stones. If you're a jewelry maker like me, I know you probably have all sorts of fun gemstone chips and just stones on their own with the beautiful colors, showcasing them in your house. And you know, crystals are really big right now, and they're great to show off in home decor. So I just wanted to show you a few very inexpensive ways to really showcase your stones and add them to your home decor. Thanks so much for joining me today, and check out beadmeastory.com. That is my jewelry site, and I teach people how to make mixed media chainmail projects using jump rings and beads and all sorts of different things. So I hope you will check out my shop. And this one is just this was just a for fun video to show you how to do some fun things around your home. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.